In my first experience in a field trip locally with Grinnell in Zone 13, I spotted way off in a distance some thistles, and there was a bunch of goldfinches sitting on the tops of the thistle blossoms and plucking something out of it. So I said, oh, there's a group of American goldfinches eating thistle seeds. Grinnell entered the story. He says, how do you know they're not eating insects on the seeds of the thistles? I had no answer for it. He had me, you know. And then he turned to the class, and there spewed out a whole big volume of expert observation techniques, of which he was the exponent of in all of field biology. This was the goldfinch syndrome, and throughout all the experience with Grinnell, you come out, I think, with a deeply embedded process of how to analyze things. You become extremely analytical, and I think that is probably the most basic thing that I personally have learned from Grinnell.
So the Museum of Vertebrate Zoology was founded in 1908 by Annie Alexander, who recognised that the west coast of the US was missing a substantial research infrastructure and collection to understand vertebrate diversity.
I just remember seeing her once with all. They sort of dressed in field clothes. I mean, there was no feeling of style or anything. And they'd go out, you know, in their field clothes, and then they'd come down with their specimens and so on.
One thing I do know that when Annie M was in MVZ, they knew she was coming, and I think things were tidied up.
Well, she'd been hunting wildlife in Africa with her dad and kind of liked it. And she was filthy rich, and this is what she wanted to do. She was an amazing person.
Annie was a powerful person. Originally, she didn't think much of some men who looked down on women as being able to do anything.
So there was somebody with money, motivation, and superb field skills, looking for someone to provide the intellectual leadership and the rigour to establish a program that would last. She then went on and recruited Joe Grinnell as her pick for the founding director of the museum.
And when you mention Grinnell, I mean, there's always a feeling of great reverence. He's the one that started it all.
I mean, her foresight and Grinnell's foresight was really remarkable in both seeing the need for this institution and the way they went about it and setting up this really rich historical record that now enables a lot of the science that we're doing 100 years later.